Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm an aircraft engineer, and in this series we'll break down aircraft systems in a clear and practical way. From all the main systems, step by step, how they work and why they matter. So if you're a student, technician, or aviation enthusiast, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell icon for notifications. Your support really helps the channel grow. Let's get started.
Today, we're heading out to the tarmac to get a look at one of the most intense procedures in all of aviation, the engine ground run. This is it. This is the final high-stakes health check for a massive jet engine right before it gets the green light to carry passengers. So what does it really take to pull this off safely? And that's really the big question, isn't it? How in the world do you safely test an engine that weighs as much as a T-Rex while it's still attached to an airplane that's not supposed to be moving? Well, it turns out it's a kind of ballet, a dance between immense power, incredible precision, and, well, absolutely zero room for error. You know, before you even hear a whisper from the engine, the entire scene has to be meticulously staged. This isn't just about flicking a switch. Oh no, this is about controlling a potentially explosive force. And the prep work? That's everything. Okay, look at this list. Every single one of these things is a critical link in a safety chain. You point the aircraft into the wind to get stable, clean air into the engine. The wheels are chalked with these massive blocks because you're about to unleash incredible thrust. And of course, a trained firefighter is standing by, ready to go. Every detail is planned out before that engine even thinks about starting. And this number, wow, this one really paints a picture of the power we're dealing with. 200 feet. That's the minimum safe distance from the back of the plane to a specially reinforced fence. We're not talking about just hot air here. This is a jet blast that can literally throw cars around. It creates a very real, very serious danger zone. Here's a perfect example of that obsessive attention to detail. So why concrete? Why not asphalt? It's because a modern jet engine is basically a giant 9-ton vacuum cleaner. The suction is so powerful and the heat so intense that it could actually break up asphalt. And if it sucks in even a tiny piece of debris, what engineers call FOD, for foreign object debris, it could destroy a multi-million-dollar engine in a split second. So yeah, it has to be solid concrete. And get this, it's not just what you do, it's how you do it. You see, slamming the throttle forward like you would in a car is a huge mistake with really costly consequences. If you move it too fast, you create this dangerous spike in the engine's internal temperature, which can literally take years off its life. That's why there's a rule, a full 30 seconds of slow, smooth, deliberate movement to go from idle to full power. All right, so the stage is set, all the checks are done, now it's time to bring this beast to life. But this is nothing like turning a key in your car. It's a carefully monitored, totally automated sequence where the engine's own brain takes the lead, following a very precise series of steps. This right here, this is the heartbeat of the whole operation. The technicians are watching these steps like hawks. First, the core of the engine, what they call N3, starts to spin. Then, at exactly 25% of its max speed, fuel and a spark are introduced. Right after that, they're looking for the EGT, that's the exhaust gas temperature, to start climbing, which means we have ignition. At 50%, the starter cuts out, the ignition stops, and if everything went perfectly, the engine settles into a stable idle, and you get that beautiful avail message. The giant is awake. Let's just park on EGT for a second. The best way to think of it is as the engine's core temperature, like it has a fever. It is the single most important vital sign. A healthy engine runs at a very predictable temperature. If that EGT suddenly spikes, that's a huge red flag that something is seriously wrong inside, and the crew has to act immediately. And this is exactly what the engine's onboard computer, the electronic engine control, is watching for. On the left, you've got a perfect start. Smooth, stable, all good. On the right, well, that's the stuff of nightmares. A hot start is when that EGT goes through the roof. A hung start is when it lights up but just hangs there, refusing to speed up. And a no light up? Well, that's when you get nothing at all. In any of these cases, that computer is smart enough to automatically shut the whole thing down to prevent a catastrophic failure. But what if something goes wrong after the engine is already up and running? This is where the training, the discipline, and the professionalism of the ground crew really get put to the test. Because when things go wrong with a jet engine, they go wrong very, very fast. An engine surge, it's one of the most violent things that can happen. It's basically an aerodynamic stall deep inside the compressor. You hear it, a loud bang, and you see it on the gauges instantly as a massive, sharp spike in EGT. It is an unmistakable, urgent signal that you need to do something right now.
But the response isn't panic. It's pure procedure. The second a surge is detected, the first move is always to pull the throttle straight back to idle. That immediately reduces the pressure and lets the airflow stabilize. Then you verify the EGT is dropping, you let the engine settle down, and only then do you carefully figure out what happened. This is pure discipline under pressure.
And then there's the worst case scenario, an engine fire. The response is a rapid-fire muscle memory sequence. Throttles to idle, master switches off, and then you slam that big, red, illuminated fire button. And hitting that button doesn't just discharge one fire bottle. No, it fires both of the engine's extinguishing agents at the same time. When it comes to fire, you take no chances. But check this out. What if there's a fire deep inside an engine that's already been shut down? You can't really fight that from the outside. So they have this amazing procedure called a dry motor. They literally use the starter to spin the engine's core, but with no fuel and no ignition. They turn the entire engine into a giant fan, just to blow the flames out from the inside. How clever is that? It's a really simple solution to a terrifying problem. When you boil it all down, this whole procedure is a game of numbers. Every single part of this operation is governed by hard, non-negotiable limits. These are the absolute red lines that keep the engine and everyone around it safe.
So first, let's talk speed. The engine has a few different rotating sections, or spools. N1, that's the huge fan you see at the front. N2 is the compressor behind it, and N3 is the super high-pressure core. These percentages you see here, they're the absolute maximum speeds these parts are designed to handle. If you go over, even for a second, you risk immediate catastrophic failure. But as important as speed is, the real enemy, the true villain in the life of a jet engine, is heat. The entire game is about managing thermal stress. The metals inside these things are incredible, but even they have a breaking point. It's a constant, relentless race against heat and time. And this slide just says it all, doesn't it? This is that race against time right here in black and white. At 900 degrees Celsius, which is pretty normal for takeoff power, you've got 5 minutes, okay? But push it just a little hotter to 920 degrees, and your window shrinks to just 20 seconds. And at the absolute red line, 1,000 degrees Celsius, you have 5 seconds, not 5 minutes, 5 seconds. That is the razor-thin margin these incredible machines operate on every single day. And just to show you the full range these technicians have to manage, it's not always about extreme heat. At the other end of the scale, the engine's oil has to be warmer than minus 40 degrees Celsius. Any colder than that, and you can't even start it, because the oil would be too thick to circulate properly. It's a constant balancing act across a massive range of temperatures. In the end, that's what this all comes down to. Every single check on the list, every temperature limit, every slow push of the throttle, every practiced emergency response, it all links together. It creates this unbroken chain of safety that starts right here on the ground and extends all the way to 35,000 feet. So the next time you're at an airport and you hear that incredible roar of a jet engine spooling up, maybe you'll hear it a little differently. Because it's not just noise. It's the sound of power that has been meticulously checked, verified, and proven safe. It's the sound of a 9-ton giant that has passed its final health check and is finally cleared for the skies.
If you found this helpful, please click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you won't miss the next lesson. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.